In this section, we're going to be looking at some of the visual effects and fun things that we can do to make our projects look better or more interesting. So in this lesson, we want to just learn how to add effects, learn more about what types of effects there are in Premiere Pro. And the first thing we're going to do is I've just put together this sequence of the same clip 6 times with different effects. And we're just going to watch through it and see all of the different things that you can do in Premiere Pro. So this is the first clip, no effects, just this couple walking down the beach. Let me just rewind just a bit. So walking down the beach, no effects, natural light. Here's another effect. This is a threshold effect. Get that black and white. We added some grain in this shot. With this shot, we added this spotlight effect. With this next one, we actually flipped the effect, so it's going to the left. And with this one, we added this bevel kind of style. And this is just scratching the surface on what types of effects you can add. If you go to your effects bin, let me just close down these bins, you can see that there are so many types of effects. And if you open up one of these folders, you can see different adjustment effects, changing the color levels, changing the highlight shadow levels. Under blur and sharpen, we can add blurs, different types of blurs. Color correction, these are all of your color correction effects if you don't want to use the Lumetri color panel. The 3-way color corrector, this is the main effect that we used to use as editors to color correct our footage before the Lumetri panel. One of the most fun bins is the stylize. We can make our videos have brush strokes to look like it's a moving painting. We can emboss the edges. We can create a mosaic, texturize. I'll let you go through all of the effects, but I want you to understand how to use them first. With all of these effects, you'll notice in our effects control bin or panel that up here we have the effect settings. So for threshold, it's simple. The level of the threshold. We can increase or decrease the amount of threshold, allowing more of the highlights to have some black texture. But if we decrease it all the way, only the dark parts of this image get this sort of dark silhouette. If I turn this off, you'll see just the dark parts right here. And this image is actually a good one to see this out on because there are so many highlights on this bright, warm beach. So you can adjust all of your levels with the effects controls. Here we have the noise effect added. And we have 25% noise, which is actually a lot more than I typically would add, but I wanted to just really show you what happens when you add noise. So if you want to add a little bit of dust and grain, make it a little bit noisy, like an old film camera, use the noise effect. The noise type, I uncheck the use color noise because the color noise, if I make it a lot bigger, you can see that it has all these red and green and yellow dots. I like just the black and white noise, and typically maybe around 10% or so, just a subtle amount, just a very subtle amount. With this next one, we have a lot more options. So this is the lighting effects. You have multiple lights that you can add to your clip with this effect. I'm just using the light one. All of these effects adjust something. So the center will adjust where your light is set. Both the major and the minor radius will adjust how big and small your light is. The angle will adjust where it's coming from. I wanted to match where the sun was coming from for this clip. So it looks like that spotlight is actually just the sun. The intensity is how bright or dark the light is. You can actually make it darker. And the focus is how wide or narrow it is. How much of a sort of feathering does it have into the rest of the footage. And this is just light one. We can add another light if we wanted to. Going to light two, we can change from none to another spotlight. And we can move this around, do anything we want with it. With the next clip, we just flipped it. So we used the horizontal flip effect, and it just flopped the image from right to left. And it just flopped the image, so now they're walking on the left-hand side. And sometimes flipping an image can make a more dynamic shot or dynamic transition. Right here we have the action of this footage over here in the bottom left corner. Say we had another shot that we're cutting to after this that has the subject down here in the bottom left corner. We wouldn't want the subjects of this shot to be on this corner, and then the next shot, the subject's on this corner. It's a more fluid and peaceful transition if the main eye-catching subject is in the same, relatively the same area of the frame. So using the horizontal flip, we can make this shot match that. And then with this last one, this is just the bevel edges. Just another effect, you can see that I can adjust the bevel edges, where the light's coming from to create that shadow on the edges. The color, say we want to make this something wild and fun with like a blue edge or something like that. And then the intensity of the light, again, how contrasty we want that light. To learn all of these effects, it would take a very long time for me to walk through every single one. So what I think you should do, and the way that I learn these effects, is just to play around with them. Just go one at a time, add them to your clips, see what it does. Say, hey, what's this auto color? Let's drag it onto our clip. It's automatically adjusting the colors of our footage. See this on and off? Makes it a little bit more contrasty, and that's actually pretty darn nice, I would say. So the auto color is a cool effect. And just go through them and see which ones you like. There's some that I've never even touched, and some that I use almost on every project. If you have any specific questions about a specific effect, please let me know. I will be covering some of the ones that I use most in the next few lessons. Otherwise, just have fun with it, and we'll see you in the next lessons.